Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to NoChaNoMa, Simon's Living Room. Joining me here on this grey, cold, it's not too cold actually, it's quite mild. Spring, it's not early spring, despite the title. In Europe, it's winter. It's February, as if you didn't know. And on the lunar calendar, at least, for lunars, on the Japanese lunar calendar, the name February is not only Nigatsu, second month, but it also is Kisaragi, which is the old lunar calendar name for February, and it kind of evokes the onset of spring, because a couple of days ago, well, for 5 days ago, really, it was Setsuban in Japan, which marks the turning point, which marks the arrival of spring in the lunar calendar. In the regular calendar, spring has at least another couple of months to go. But there are early signs of spring in the Japanese haiku tradition. It's a season word used to denote the onset of early spring. Risshun, I should say correctly. Yes. That also appears here in this scrolling list, which I prepared earlier, and there are a couple of haikus in there from good old Basho. But welcome to the show. If there's anybody, there's 2 people watching. Hello, 2 people. Please make yourselves known so that I may communicate with you and interact. I've been going since about 4:30 this morning. Hey, Nosh, you made it. Jolly good. And a sakura, or it could be an ume. I've got some ume image, because ume, being the plum blossom, is one of the first signs of spring. And there's a bird, Hotogitsu or something like. I can't remember the name of it. I did used to know the name of it as a particular kind of Japanese cuckoo type bird, but that's much later in the spring. You're still awake, Nosh, like me. As I say, I got up about 4:30 this morning, mainly because of being old and having sort of the need to go to the toilets. Too much information, but also because my friend Radri was having a live stream with his guest abroad in Japan, Chris Broad, and I thought, well, that'd be worth watching. Although I always go to Radri's live streams, but that wasn't until 6 o'clock in the morning. But I was already awake and decided to as you do, just scroll through the YouTubes and the Facebooks until that time. Do tell me if this background music is annoying. I was watching just before a live stream from Kichijoji. Yes, you need to be up every 4 hours. Oh, it started early for you, Nosh. You should be in bed, but you wanted to drop in. That's very kind. I'm very glad you did. I have someone to interact with. And if Lumiere Soleil, the channel, a lady who has a channel, a Japanese lady, if you're watching Lumiere Soleil, I did say that I will be going on today. Hello. You don't hear any music. Don't hear any music. I hear music going. It's just me then. Hang on. If I turn it up, let's have a look. Audio. Tell me if you hear it now. I can hear it in my head. It could just be that I've not set the microphone in the streaming app to pick up the. If nobody's hearing the music, I'll switch it off, because it's, as I was saying, I was watching another live stream this morning from a Russian chap who does walking live streams, and he was walking around in Kichijoji in a shopping arcade, and as usual, jazz music was playing in the background, and it was very relaxing. He wasn't playing it. Somewhere in the shopping mall was playing it, and it's sort of standard now in Japan, everywhere, in shopping malls, in cafes, in the most unlikely places, in Don Quixote. They have jazz playing, very sort of mellow jazz. So let's see. Did you see it? I'm looking fresh. It's the lighting. It's spring. I'm fresh, and I'm on liquid lunch. Nope, no music. I shall turn it off because I've heard it now three times. It's just a 3-minute sort of mellow jazz piece. Oh well, I'll get that sorted eventually. Not that it makes a great deal of difference to whether to the show. How are you, MS? Were you there last week? You were probably one of the people lurking and watching. I've sent out all my spam links. Don't know who's there besides you guys. But where was I? Yes, spring. New life. And this is when your New Year's resolutions should be kicking in. Luckily for me, I didn't make any. So I'm all right. I have nothing to feel guilty about by not doing it. And spring cleaning. Looks around. Yes, my folks are coming in March, so I've got about a month to tidy up. Hey, Ellen. Is it sort of grey and miserable in Holland as well? We're battening down the hatch. We've got a storm coming tomorrow, Storm Kiara, and we're having 120 kilometer an hour or 70 mile an hour winds expected. So I'm going to lock my car in the garage and batten down the hatches and stay inside, which I usually do on a Sunday anyway. Apart from venturing to the library, I've just run out of reading material. And I've noticed this week that I often have about 3 books on the go at once, and I took those back last week. Got 1 book out and read it in a couple of hours. It was a good book, and it was actually a story which I don't generally read, and it was Japanese. That was the main thing. By a recently award-winning Japanese authoress by the name of Sayaka Murata. Hi, Tomo! Oh, the last episode you saw was the Princeton Baroque. Our previous week's episode was my new friend Ingrid from Holland. She's a Japanese specialist, and so we had an interview with her. Very, very grey and rainy. So yes, I read. I don't know, Tomo. I don't know whether you know of the authoress Sayaka Murata. She wrote a book that won a prize in 2016 called Konbini Ningen, Convenience Store Human, it was called. It's quite a short story, but very, very reflective on Japanese society. Deep cleaning all the floors. You clean a good, yes. Well, you do that in my in lieu of me doing that, you do that. Okay. I'm looking at a wardrobe here next to me that I sort of inherited after I got divorced, and it's still got some of my children's clothes in it from about 10 years ago. So they're all small clothes. I should really sort of clear it out. You don't know about it? Oh, that's all right. No. But I would recommend it. If you can find that book, Tomo, Google it. Konbini Ningen by Sayaka Murata. Donate. Yes, I mean, the clothes in here would ideally go to the local charity shop. Speaking of which, I bought this the other week. It appeared in last week's show. I think I was wearing it. I bought this for all of about what will be the equivalent of $7, which is quite cheap for a nice jacket, and I think my trousers, my jumper, and the T-shirt I'm wearing under here, all secondhand. It's my habit. Oh yes, you went to Tokyo, didn't you, Tomo? Well, you went somewhere. I didn't realize you'd gone to Tokyo. download it. Well, I'm reading the book. I like to read the book. Right? I can put the book away, and it doesn't. My eyes don't ache. Oh, you've got to drive home from work. What time is it there? It's 9:30. It's 20 to 9. You must have worked late. Good grief. Oh, hello. Who's that? That was Line. I don't often get Line. Oh, it's my friend from New York. It's a bit nippy out in New York. -1. All right. I just told everybody on the show. Oh, excuse me. So, yes, there we are. Literary works recommended by Simon NoChaNoMa. 7-Eleven. What is this book you speak of? Printed internet. Yes. So you can download it and then print it off on your printer. 7-Eleven. I had something very delicious from 7-Eleven in Kyoto. My friend Shane, when I visited him there, he bought it. I think I mentioned this before. Some kind of little crunchy, chocolatey sweet thing. In Shikoku, the airport in Shikoku. Okay, drive safely. Just put me on hands free. Hang on. No, she's listening to classical music, and people are talking about visiting New York City. Okay, well, one day I shall go and visit my friend in New York. But this year it's Japan. Again. And as usual in late autumn. One day I'll go there in spring. I mean, appropriate to the show. I was looking back. I did a video in spring last year. I was just making sure that I repeated myself. The other previous show, I had Holland Studies, and I'd done Holland Studies before as a title. Your first meal in Japan was mentaiko pasta. I'm trying to think what mentaiko is. Mentaiko pasta. Elaborate. What's mentaiko? I can't. Oh yeah. I did remember. I've had that many bentos. Spicy roe. Oh yes. No, not my thing. No. Fish eggs and fish sperm. I steer clear of those. It's just no. Yes, it could be full of plastic. I was chatting at work the other day with one of the builders, and he said he saw a program where somebody got a fish obviously from the North Sea or wherever near Belgium, and they cut it open, and its stomach was full of plastic. It's a sad indictment of today's society. There we are. Topical, environmentally conscious. Speaking of topics, I was chatting with Radri just before, and I was saying I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, and he said, "Simon NoChaNoMa top 10 women." No. What? Everybody goes, what? No. I shall not do that. I was trying to think top 10 women who have been on the show. Oh, I could do that. But hey, Vince of your mom. There you are. Another middle-aged chap grumbling about being in his 50s. Yes. He was also in the comments at Radri's. Peach-coloured sauce over spaghetti pasta. Yes, one of those plastic things. Oh, that looks nice. And then you get told what it is. It's shirako with natto with fugu and sea cucumber. Blah. With horse sushi, horse sashimi. Yes, but this time of the year, it's like the time for motsunabe and nikujaga and all those sort of. I once tried to make. I did a video making nikujaga, and it was a total fail. I actually called the video, failed nikujaga or something like that. It's basically hot pot. I mean, you can't really go wrong, but I did. I'm talking about food, and I've not eaten anything apart from some nuts and chocolates. I had some coffee and chocolates before. Very healthy. So I've been endeavoring to get guests next week on the show. I'm already telling you what's happening next week. but my friend Jess, legit outlaw Jess, she is now in Japan, and currently in limbo, waiting to get to public housing in Yokohama, because she's with her husband, who's a Navy guy, but they've supposed to be allocated a house rather than be on base, but it's not happened yet. So she's stuck in a hotel in Yokosuka. But she will be joining me, hopefully, next week on the show. You don't eat feet or jellyfish. Everything, despite the salad jokes. You just woke up and start. So you went to sleep again after Radri's live stream. I just stayed awake. That's why I've got these terrible bags under my eyes and I'm rumbling. I'll just move to some spring images, just so that I'm not going to read those. Chroma key. No. Yeah. Okay. There we are. Oh no. Bit there. Okay. I've got a bit of a green glow going on around my. Shrink the contour. No, shrink it. Yes. There we go. This is actually, speaking of ume plums and the Japanese plum tree as being a harbinger of spring. There's actually in Setagaya from today until the end of the month at, I can't remember where it was. Some park in Setagaya has a plum festival, 300 plum trees in bloom that you can go to. So I got this picture from there. What's my playlist? There's 5 minutes between pictures because I only managed to find 3 pictures before it was time to start. Yes, preparation is everything or not. But yes, as I was saying, next week, chroma key, behave. Okay, you've had a few hours sleep. That's good. You're fresh and vital and able to take in everything that I'm saying. And Nosh has been examining his plums. They're not blossoming. Right. Anyway, next week, legit outlaw Jess will be on, so I shall be trying to get the lowdown on Yokosuka, because my friend from New York, who lined me just before, she made friends with me through YouTube and online, watching me on my previous show, and she was at that time living in Yokosuka, because her boyfriend was a Navy chap. Hello, Perk. Something wa. Konnichiwa. konnichiwa. I suppose it would be in Japan it would be konbanwa, but now it's here in this part of the world it's konnichiwa. Hang on. Oh, I got a notification. It tells me I'm live on YouTube. Oh dear. Today wa. That's Kyowa. The remnants of my Japanese lessons are dribbling through. I have three thick files of notes, but they're all under my bed. Once upon a time, I was able to string a coherent sentence together in Japanese, and could have possibly even asked directions. Now I'll be hard pressed to say anything other than mas and konnichiwa. Perhaps before I go in November, I better sort of brush up a little bit more. So yes, next week's guest will be Legit Outlaw Jess, a long-standing guest. She was substitute for those of you who remember. Doko desu ka? Yeah. What? Who remember my old show, The Three Old Dudes, when the Australian chap Dean sort of couldn't make it. We would often call on Jess to stand in, and she was one of the stand-in deans. But she has quite a library of tales to tell of her time in Japan. Well, yes, it's in my head that I'm going to go visit your mom, and everybody at my work keeps asking, "You're definitely going to Japan this year?" Because I'm saving up all the overtime and whatnot. Warakarimasen. And my actress friend and her friend are looking forward to seeing me, and hopefully my friend in Yamaguchi is hopefully looking forward to seeing me, and Englandese, if you're watching Englandese, I shall obviously be, when I get to Yamaguchi, I'll come and pop around and see you as well, and everybody else, hopefully. But it's, yes, as I say, it's all in my head at the moment, and there's nothing concrete. I've not gone ahead and booked anything. I should, round about March, April, possibly May, I may swing into action and start booking stuff. But at the moment, my latest expense, which I went and paid for this morning, is keeping my aging car on the road. I had to pay about equivalent of about $600 garage bill, just to sort of make sure that my car can crawl along for another year. October, November is ideal. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I can walk around with trousers, long trousers. Not that I walk around without trousers. No, with long trousers and a jacket, and so on, and look respectable, and not sweat too much. Although I have been in November before and walked around in a jacket, and I had to take the jacket off. It's November, for goodness sake. But it's Japan, yes. Oh yeah, we're picture number 2. This is a view of Mount Fuji from the Kwannon Temple somewhere. So what are you guys doing? I mean, you're going to try and go to Japan around about that time, Vids? October, November? skipping the Olympic hysteria. I'm curious now how it's going to be. Whether I mean, now there's, I mean, I usually go and stay in the same hostels and business hotels and things when I go there. But whether the prices will all be bumped up and remain bumped up after the Olympics, I hope not. I hope this all suddenly sort of drop down again. Because I mean, for 2 weeks, I can get away with about $2,000, or the equivalent of, will get me through 2 weeks of being in Japan. Are you going to Osaka in April, Ellen? Cool. I hope you'll be putting photos in Instagram. Noshing abroad too is changing careers again to something less demanding. I would agree. I mean, but the trouble is, if I go and do something less demanding than I'm doing now, that would be practically nothing, and I wouldn't earn any money. Now I'm doing something that is sort of intellectually completely undemanding. I don't have to take my work home with me. I don't have to particularly think about what I'm going to do the next day. It's great. Yes. I could do a Carlos Ghosn. Yes, but I would have to be chairman. I would have to be the chairman of something to travel inside a musical instrument case. But then I would miss all the great sort of programs on the back of the seat for 12 hours in the airplane. The aeroplane. If you bring the wife and kids, yes. One day I'd like to go to Japan with my sons. I don't know whether they would stick it for 2 weeks though. It's a reverse Ghosn. I'm doing a reverse Ghosn. A reverse Carlos. Don't look that up on Urban Dictionary. Have they arrested Mrs. Ghosn? That's what I want to know. Or she had to escape in a cello case. Yes, also, I'm giving away all my secrets now as regards guests. I've been in contact with Mitsune. For those of you who know, that's the 3 women shamisen players from Berlin who were on the show last year. And they are going to join me again on the 21st of March, usual time, which is a Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. There should be then music, and I hope hopefully you will be able to hear it. They're working on new material. They couldn't join this month because one of them is visiting Japan. Okay, Nosh. Sleep well. Thanks for joining. Yes, they were fun guests, and talented, musically talented, unlike me. Perhaps my old drum kit is here under a pile of cloths and stuff. I could maybe get one of the drums out and tap along as they played. Bye, Nosh. Oh, there's that sticker that Rochelle Kopp said, I am not Carlos Ghosn. Carlos Ghosn is not in my luggage. Sticker. Ah, you promised. I was just reading that you promised your child that you would go to Disney and Universal when Mario Land opens. Which one is Mario Land in? Is it in Universal or Disney? I think is there a Nintendo theme park? I mean, in Europe we have the Asterix theme park. For anybody who knows who Asterix is, which I've never been. I was a fan of Asterix. I have all the books almost, at least the ones written by the authors when the authors were still alive. And my sons were big fans of it when they were small. Not a terribly great theme park fan myself, generally because I don't like the theme park rides because they're scary. Water log flumes and roller coasters. Boomer cartoon. What's a boomer cartoon? I think the problem with the boomer concept is sort of it's all people born up to 1965. So I was born in 1966, so I am Generation X. Just not boomer. We're all right. We get ignored by millennials and Generation Z. And millennials get it in the neck from, and boomers get it in the neck from Generation Z. Everybody ignores Generation X. Or just lumps us in with the boomers because they can't tell. But we're all equally wrinkled and going grey. Yeah, I mean, I think I've been there were some when my kids were little. We went to theme parks here to do with Flemish children's programs. A Flemish children's program maker got sufficiently popular to have actually theme parks based on their shows, and we went to those. And I didn't mind going around in the little car rides and stuff with the kids and roundabouts and things. Roller coasters, no. That's right, the Asterix theme park. Can I leave my car keys downstairs if you've got the time? Because we're around about. Oh, right, that's my son. Excuse me, I'm just going to drop my car keys downstairs because he's got to borrow the car and drive to a bagpipe workshop. As you do. Excuse me. Talk amongst yourselves. I've just got to drop the car keys off downstairs. Ah, there you go. If you're still watching, Wasteland Piper, they're in the kitchen. And the door is unlocked to get in. I shall now be burgled. Hang on, I better just message him. Excuse me, domestic messenger. Keys are in the kitchen. Oh, you heard? Yeah, there's me typing away, and you heard it. Yes. I'm doing a YouTube live stream and communicating with my family at the same time. There you are. It's very meta. No, they've not aged that well. My other son, and he was watching Netflix, and he put on an Asterix cartoon last Sunday, I think it was. And no, it's not aged well. It's well drawn, relatively speaking, but no, it was in French as well, which didn't help. But laugh? No, I didn't. But the books are much funnier. I think the first Asterix book I had was Asterix the Legionary, and I think I got a book voucher. No, I'd got a. I can't remember. I mean, no, that's it. Yes, I bought the book with money I'd saved up. It was only like the equivalent of what would be now 50 cents, something like that, or $1. And I had change, but they couldn't give me any change because I think I'd bought it with a voucher or something. So they gave me a credit note, which I kept for about 30 years. Yes, and Ellen, you're right. 1959 was when the sort of Asterix first appeared as in another comic, and then eventually they got their own comics. But the two creators have both died now, I think. This is sort of the European equivalent of I don't know what. I mean, whether there's a Japanese, long-standing Japanese sort of humorous manga that is sort of part of the culture. I don't know, but I mean, Asterix is like, I think everybody's heard of Asterix. I mean, on this side of the world, anyway. Hang on, I've got to go back. There we are. Kisaragi, February. Risshun, early spring. What was the other? Shunkan. That was it. That's Shunkan. A specific word for cold weather in early spring. In English or in either language, yeah, it's cold weather in early spring, isn't it? And in Japanese, you just say Shunkan, and everybody knows what you're talking about. Dragon Ball. I don't think Udazo is dead yet. Yeah, I mean, there's Asterix books still coming out, drawn by somebody else, but also written by somebody else. So I'm not sure. Dragon Ball, yes, that's quite old. There we go. Harutachite mada kokonoko no noyama kana. Past the first day of spring, which was the 3rd of February. It's only 9 days. On the hills and fields. He's 92, but still alive. Well, that's good. That's a good long life, especially for a Frenchman. I mean, if it was Japanese, it would be like, oh yeah, it's like no problem. But he must be living quite well. Goscinny is dead. Yes, Goscinny died, I think, before this century happened. but he was the artist, so that was a bit of a tricky. But the current people managed to reproduce his drawing style quite well. So I also got feelers out in Brighton. My filmmaker friend in Brighton, my other filmmaker friend, he is hopefully looking for me, if he remembers, for creative people to be on the show. And my friend Hiroshi in Japan, he's talking to one of the guys from the Yokohama Theatre Group that's based in Kawasaki. So hopefully that chap will be on the show. So I'm looking, and hopefully we'll be getting guests. And you won't just have to sit here listening to me waffle on interminably. Yes, tomorrow I should be looking for definitely looking for another book to read. I generally look for books on Japan, but I think I've exhausted the sort of the entire limits of this area of Flanders for books about Japan. By way of a surrogate way of being there, sort of thing. Yes, I've read Tanazaki Kawabata, Murakami, Banana. I can't remember her first name, and the banana bit is a nickname, but she wrote some good story. Tomo must have gone. She's already driving, but she might not. Hang on, Japanese author Banana. Right, Japanese author Banana. This is me. Banana Yoshimoto, otherwise known, real name Mahoko Yoshimoto. She wrote some good stuff. I could write a book about books on Japan, a meta book. Oh, that's another thing. Now that I've had Christmas and birthdays and received quite a substantial sum of money, well, in my terms anyway, I've been investigating microphones and interfaces and headphones and microphone stands, and hopefully in the next few weeks I will be going on the internet and having browsed and looked and searched and checked reviews, purchasing from a store here, an online kind of store where you can book it online and then go and pick it up, a decent microphone for doing voiceovers. And that's when books come into their own, in the sense that I'll be hoping to do audiobooks. So you can hear me droning on about, about Japan. Hello. That'll be son number 1. Oh no. Zushi. Oh, this is Jess from next week. Zushi. Anybody know where Zushi is? It's where is that area? West of Yokohama, south of Kamakura, southeast of Kamakura. It's southeast of Kamakura and west of Yokohama. Shonan, the Shonan Peninsula area. You go past it on the Enoden, the electric railway from Kamakura to Enoshima. It's basically only really known for a beach, but it's quite a nice area. You have a personal spending account at work. Oh, you lucky bugger. New electronics. Yes. Well, once I've bought all this gear, I will then have to I'll have to buy bits of wood and some old towels, as you do, and make some soundproofing. Because it's all right having a microphone, but if you have an echoey room, your voiceover goes to hell. So you've got to be sort of up close and quite like this, and can't be sort of talking to the microphone like this all the time. So I need some soundproofing. But I shall also be using the new microphone, and you'll see it. It'll all be look very sort of professionally sort of thing, hopefully. I have to set my gain right and my threshold, and am I not? I don't know whether I'll use a noise gate. Hello, somebody gave up and left. I don't blame you. Looking at my statistics, the watch time, maximum time is about 18 minutes that people can tolerate. Although you guys have been here with me all the time, but whether that means replay value. So the rest of the day, what am I going to do for the rest of the day? This is generally the highlight of my Saturdays, apart from the chocolate and coffee in the morning. And when I've got guests, I've got lots of things to do to prepare and everything. But now I'm what am I going to do after this? I may be forced to do some cleaning or something like that. Oh dear. It's spring. These things have to be done. Yes. So that the parents do not come and look shocked. Ah, yes. Wait a minute. Minicam. I'll scroll that back down. Can I scroll that back down? Yeah. Whoa. No, it won't scroll back down. No, I missed that haiku. That would have been a nice haiku to read. If it scrolls back up in time, I shall use that to end the show, kind of thing. An afternoon of cleaning awaits. Sometimes I actually bother to clean my windows outside. But I've got so many and so awkward to get at. You plan to have an afternoon of doing absolutely. I may join you in that, Ellen. Sounds like a great idea. Or maybe even forced to go to the library. Usually I go tomorrow just as something to do on the way to the shops to get groceries. But I might go this afternoon. Where are you, Ellen? You could. We should actually hang out. I mean, oh yes, you're out in the countryside in Holland. That's right. We should agree to a sort of an intermediate town somewhere. How close are you to Maastricht, or how close are you to Hulst? That would be good. Yes, you get your vacuum cleaner and you get your dust and you vacuum for a bit, and then you sit, oh, it's time for a cup of tea, and you sit down, and that's the end of the cleaning. So I'm just thinking, how much I spend on groceries. That's my greatest expense, actually. I think I spend about the equivalent of $20 to $25 a day on groceries. So that's about $400 a month on groceries alone, and bits and bobs to do with the house and stuff. It's a shame I couldn't get the music to play. Some background music would have been cool now. If I fiddle about with this live streaming app now, and reassign the microphone. I don't know why it's changed the microphone. 170 kilometers. Yes, it's about 2 hours on the train for me, or 2 hours drive. So it's a bit of a way. We'll have to think of an intermediate town. I'm in a town between Antwerp and Ghent. So if you look at that on the map, and then you work out where that relative to you, and then we can decide on a sort of a halfway point that's an interesting town to look round. We could maybe meet up. That would be cool. Yes, and hopefully Shinichi will decide to visit Amsterdam again in March. Now with his mum, I'm not sure. It's only 2,000 kilometers away. It's 9,000, I think. 9,000 to Japan. Yes, because I was hoping Shinichi. I mean, it could well happen that Shinichi and Satoshi will be on the show. I still have to sort of, but I mean, obviously at the moment with his mother in that situation, till that's resolved, it's all a bit up in the air. Dead air time. Hang on. Audio. Why is the audio? I'm going to put the audio back on. An afternoon stroll. A short walk. An afternoon stroll. I could get one in before tomorrow. Tomorrow with 120 kilometer an hour, 70 mile an hour winds and rain. Now it's just sort of grey. Oh look, a symbol. And there's that wardrobe that I was wanting to get rid of, all the contents. I just broke the fourth wall. I'm terribly sorry. Yeah, speaking of fourth walls, Randry posted a picture on YouTube community of his studio setup. When you watch his live streams, you just see this red curtain and a white plastic tree next to him, and it looks like a sort of studio. But then he posted a shot, and it's just an area of his flat that's cordoned off. It was quite an impressive live stream with Chris Broad. I mean, Chris Broad was explaining that he's this character on his videos, and so on. that's not quite like is quite snarky and sarcastic and so on. But he's actually not like that in real life, which I found quite endearing. And I enjoyed his and also that he specifically created his videos in the beginning to be popular, and that he therefore he spent a lot of time and effort, scripting them and editing them, and it seems to have paid off. It took him about 4 years, but now he has 1 million subscribers, which is rather cool. I can hear son number 1 who appeared in comments. He's now just coming up. Hello.
You on?
Oh, son number 2 as well. All right. Hello. Oh yeah. What time do you have to go? 8 o'clock. Okay. You've got the key? Yeah.
Downstairs, eh?
Okay, it's on the kitchen table. Yeah. Drive carefully. Give me a message when you get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you got there all right, and I'll see you later tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
5:30.
5:30. Okay. And right. Okay.
Right.
There we are. Sons 1 and 2. One's going to bagpipe workshop, and the other one is going to play snooker tonight, apparently. That's what happens when your sons are adults. That's the 5th wall. That is the 5th wall, yeah. What's behind the green screen? My bed, actually. And a pile of rubbish, and a chair full of clothes strewn over it. So when I get my microphone and everything, this room will be used as a sort of as a voiceover studio. So I shall have to tidy it up a bit to get the acoustic panels in. Generally, this is the spare room. I have three rooms upstairs. My son's bedroom, my bedroom, and this spare room. And this gets used as a studio, and I sleep in it when my parents come here, and then I just generally can't be bothered to change back to my room. I've got this jazz playing going on in the background. Oh yes, I was going to read the. So that's the first Basho spring haiku. When the second one comes along, I shall read that as a way of playing us out of the show. So if Lumiere Soleil has watched this, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to your next video. She always goes and buys very nice chocolates and sweets and makes delicious food, somewhere in between Ginza and Nihonbashi in her videos. So here it comes. I can't read that. It's in proper Japanese with kanji and everything, but here we go. It's I have all the translations. Shoshun mazu saki ni umu uru nioi kana. Firstly, at the beginning of spring, they sell sake and ume blossoms, and I smell them. Well, there we are. That was the show for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. and the fourth wall, the fifth wall, asterisks, plums, and all kinds of things, and arranging to meet up with people. I shall message you on Instagram, Ellen, and hopefully my friend Jess can join us next week from either Yokosuka or Zushi, depending if she gets the house between now and next week, and we'll have an interesting talk live from Japan. So until next week, thank you for joining. I shall now go off and stroll, or go to the library, or clean, or do nothing. Thanks, bye, everybody. See you next week. Bye for now.